Hi guys, welcome to the Fight-Edge channel. Peter Fury, Joshua can win a rematch, but Usyk won't be an easy ride for anyone. British coach Peter Fury shared his opinion about a possible rematch of Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. He believes that the Briton can win, but for this you need to do a lot of things and find a solution how to resist the Ukrainian. Can Usyk strike a great blow? Yes, it can. Is he an elite boxer? Yes. So the rematch with Joshua will be very interesting. Anthony has to find a solution. He needs to work on at least a few things. However, Joshua will resist in the rematch. Nothing has been decided here in any case. Joshua has a lot to do. But he is a thinking person. He is able to cope with it, said Peter Fury. Can Joshua win a rematch? Yes, it can, but it won't be easy. Usyk will not be an easy walk for anyone. We know that Alexander can be the best in the division, but on the other hand, he may come out, and the dimensions will be too big for him. If they are applied correctly, it can bend, Peter Fury said in an interview. Former world heavyweight champion Mike Tyson spoke about the victory of Alexander Usyk over Anthony Joshua. The legendary boxer wants to see the fight of the Ukrainian champion against Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder. I think Usyk was very fast. His speed made Joshua the most nervous, jailbroke Anthony. However, Joshua is still learning. He is just a kid. Anthony may be a two-time world champion, but he is still a kid. I'm only talking about their duel. I'm not talking about the fights they had before, Tyson said. Usyk turned the game around. I want to see him fight with other guys. I want to watch his fights with Wilder and Andy Ruiz. These guys are more experienced than Joshua. Usyk defeated Joshua by unanimous decision and won the WBA, WBO and IBF heavyweight championship belts. According to Usyk's promoter Alexander Krasuk, Joshua's team has already activated the option of a rematch, which may take place next spring. The duel can take place in Kiev or the United Kingdom, or in one of the countries of the Middle East. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. Sergey Lapin, the manager of Alexander Usyk's team, spoke about a potential fight between the Ukrainian WBA, WBO, IBF and IBO heavyweight world champion and WBC title holder Tyson Fury. Fury has an advantage in size. He is mobile and fast, as for a boxer of his size. But there is one nuance. The main problem of the big heavyweights is their condition in a 12-round duel. The pace of the fight that Usyk imposes, the big heavyweights of our time will not stand, Lapin said. From the point of view of technology, it will be very interesting. Fury has a very uncomfortable boxing technique, but in order to deliver his series of punches, Tyson needs to spend a lot of effort, and this will ruin him. In the end, Fury's advantage in weight and height will not matter to Usyk, because he adapts to any opponent. Boxing fans will soon see how Usyk will restore order in the heavyweight division, Lapin said. Vitaly Klitschko's ex-rival Chris Arreola predicted a possible rematch between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua for 4 heavyweight titles. I think Usyk will win the rematch. I like Usyk, I like the way he fights. Usyk fights really competently. He's gotten a little bigger, but he's still considered a minor heavyweight. It should be a fun fight. Personally, Joshua seems to me to be a man who is afraid of blows. He is afraid of missing out again, the Mexican said. The contract for the rematch between Joshua and Usyk has not yet been concluded. It is assumed that the second duel between the two Olympic champions will take place in April this year in the United Kingdom. The gold medalist, the famous British heavyweight Audley Harrison, shamed his compatriot Anthony Joshua for loud words about the rematch with the WBA, WBO and IBF world champion Alexander Usyk. Joshua expressed confidence that he will defeat the Ukrainian in a rematch, but Harrison urged him to refrain from such statements. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, I have a serious offer for you. AJ, you are too happy to satisfy Usyk like Lesion, more than 20 years old in Sydney. Harrison beat Russian Alexei Lesin ahead of schedule, has a style that you need to figure out. Talking about beating him is unreasonable. Enough of this pride. You know I know. Don't waste your time. Harrison wrote on Twitter. Former lightweight heavyweight world champion Alexander Gvozdyk said that in a rematch with Anthony Joshua, he would bet money on the owner of the WBA, WBO and IBF titles in the heavyweight division, Alexander Usyk. Usyk gave just a brilliant performance. I was skeptical, although he is my friend, but I tried to speak honestly and frankly. He did a brilliant job. And I think that in the rematch Usyk will do it again. Then we will see. It's up to him to decide what to do next. I think guys like Fury are too dangerous, but Usyk knows how to impress, and I believe he can do it. The outcome of the rematch depends on Joshua. Now you can see how he says, I'm going to heal him, I'm going to hurt him. This means that the situation really bothers him. Sometimes it's good, but it can get in the way of Joshua. It all depends on his attitude in the second fight, but in the rematch I will definitely bet on Usyk, Alexander Gvozdyk said in an interview. In order to defeat the WBA, WBO, IBF heavyweight world champion Alexander Usyk in the rematch and regain his titles, Briton Anthony Joshua will have to come out with an aggressive attitude and just ruin the boxer opposite. If necessary, even skip the excess, but bring your blows, says British coach Tony Sims. The coach worked with Joshua in 2015 and knows what he is talking about. In addition to heavyweight, he has collaborated with Darren Parker, Kevin Mitchell, Conor Benn and others. What does he need to do to beat Usyk? You have to be ruthless. It is necessary to conduct sparring with the right fighters. He can be ruthless, Sims said. You need to be aggressive, like George Foreman. Go throw the opponent's punches to powerfully punch yourself. You need to come out in such a sincere mode. That's how you can beat Usyk, the coach said. But Sims says Alexander is a tough fighter who is difficult to beat, very cunning, with quick hands, elusive. I think Anthony will have a very difficult fight, but I think he has everything in his arsenal to beat Usyk. You just have to go out and be merciless. I can see from his words how motivated he is, the coach said. Heavyweight legend, former absolute champion of the division from Great Britain, Lennox Lewis, answered the question of how he would act in a duel against Ukrainian Alexander Usyk, who has owned 3 of the 4 prestigious division titles since September last year. For me, a fight with Usyk would be a mission in the sense that I have to fulfill it, that I have to do it. You ask, how would I fight with Usyk? I would cut. This is war, said Lennox. Recall that Usyk became the heavyweight champion thanks to a victory over Lewis' compatriot Anthony Joshua. It is expected that the rematch will take place in the spring, and Lennox has an opinion on this. It all depends on Joshua's coach and their plan for the fight. I think this time they should come out with a plan. I don't understand why they say they didn't have it. How can you even go to a duel without a plan? You're the heavyweight champion of the world and you're up against another champion. Come out with a plan to fight. I don't know what it was at all. Lewis said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.